Is this thing on? Hello? Welcome to the Captain's Vlog. This latest episode is just a whole bunch of clips that I've taken from progress from the last 3-4 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks even. The car is getting bloody close. We are currently over at the alignment shop getting sorted out. Then it's having its MOT, and then next week it's going for a dyno. So enjoy the next few clips. You'll see where we've got to. We've had a few battles. There's another episode going to come after this one, showing the battles I've had with the brake system, and then we are getting on to the good stuff. So give us a like, go hit that button, give us subscribe, and enjoy the video. Got some more bits for the Civic. So these bits have been missing from the car ever since I bought it on that first day, other than this bit. I'll tell you about that in a sec. That right there is your fuel filler pipe cover. That goes inside the rear wheel arch. We've got a little cover that goes in the dashboard that hides the big main centre bolt in the middle. Then we've got the little cap that goes on the vent lever in the centre vents there. We have a passenger side indicator bulb holder. These are the wing to headlight stiffener brackets. So I'll show you where they go after, but they're required because just on tick over it all rattles its nuts off. Bulbs. Then we've got some rusty brackets. These fit onto the crash bar. So this piece bolts onto that, and then the bumper squeezes in under these little tabs, and it stops the plastic of the bumper trying to flick up in front of the headlamp. I've only got one full set for one side. This one's only got half of it. The top piece was so rusty we had to cut it off, but I got them from a breakers. So they need a bit of work. Look, they're a bit fucked, to be honest. I'm going to see if I can try and get some different ones, or maybe hopefully someone's got some new ones somewhere. I don't know. Now this is an important update. If you are running a K24 steel oil pan on a K20 block like I am, this is the flywheel cover that you need, because you have an enormous gap at this bottom edge of the gearbox, which used to be filled by the old sump, and it had a much smaller piece to cover it. No, I've probably binned it, I don't know. Anyway, the one for the other type is just a tiny little rectangular piece. So this is the one that you need. Right, let's clean that shit up and maybe whack a few bits on the car, eh? Yeah. Well, would you look at that? We've got bloody lights on. New indicator bulbs working. Well, no idea what I filmed last, to be honest, but there's a bumper on the car now. It's not properly on, it's just mocked up, but we have now got all of the correct bolts and fixings and what have you, and everything all holding it on. So this is all fairly firm in there now, so that ain't going anywhere, I think. That's all done back up as well. These gaps though, good God, none of it lines up like at all. I mean, that freaking hell, I can get my thumb in there. That don't look too bad around the light. That I haven't got the stiffeners on yet. This don't look too bad around here. Again, I haven't got the stiffener on. This is just trying to poke out. This has got an inconsistent gap along here, so you've got a massive gap. That end I can get my whole finger in. This end I can barely get half my nail in. Jeez. But the actual gaps for the wing to bonnet line, oh, I've lost my flip-flop, shit. Actually don't look too bad and look relatively even, which I don't think is too bad considering the age of the car and the fact that this wing's bent to shit anyway. Look, you've got a crease in it there, a load of fucking dents in it there. Didn't know about any of this stuff when I first bought it, obviously, but it's been sitting in my garage as well for a good while, so might just be a case it's just got a bit beat up. But got the proper receiver and screw in there now. Lights are all bolted in, so yeah, can get the skirt on that tomorrow, get the inner wheel arch on it tomorrow, put all the hub and brakes and everything all back together, and then maybe look at actually putting this bumper on proper legit. I'll leave the grill off for now because I've got to get some mesh for the back of that. But yeah, not bad progress. Lots of boring, horrible crap to do now to get the car MOT ready. It needs to go for an alignment first, obviously, but yeah, quite happy with that progress. They are annoying, but they're quite satisfying to use. So this whole area is now being completely tidied up. This was just an absolute spider web of wires all over the joint. So I've retaped both of the main charge and engine harnesses all the way up to this point, which I'll finish off when I take the battery tray out to do the hole in the bulkhead. But the fan wiring was a little bit of a mess because this is all fucking custom. So I've just got a couple of little cable ties just to stop it all moving around, and kept it all out of the way of the clutch line. Clutch line now goes up and over, following that line there, and then goes back down. It's got a little tab on there, but it's all loose enough that it can move if needs be, if the engine does flex at all. Everything's got sufficient slack in it, so I don't envisage any of this being a real problem, but we'll see once we get round to the point of actually test driving this son of a bitch. Yee! Oh, it's giving me the on. Hey, MOT ready. Here we go. Let's see a Honda Accord one, low tone. Not that annoying meet meet for me. Yeah. Oil catch can for the PCV. Out of all the space in this engine bay, that is actually really the only place I could have put it. Because I didn't want to have to fabricate a special bracket because I'm not a master fabricator. It wouldn't fit in that corner because then bolts stuck out too far, even though I bent the bracket and got it all lined up nicely. Plus that's double skin there, so I didn't really want to drill through that. Can't put it there because there's a chance that I'm going to go electric power steering, and that's actually the largest space in the whole bay that could house one. So that couldn't go there. Couldn't go on the back there because you'd have to end up with loads of hose and it's miles away, plus there isn't anywhere flat to put it on. So what's actually caused this to be such a problem is the size of this filter, because the actual can itself ain't much bigger than my 1/4 inch ratchet, but mate, that filter is enormous. So I've got different fittings coming for these because I'm just going to go with the barb because it's only going from there to there. So good news is it does fit behind the crash bar fine. Anyway, so a couple of nutserts in there, bosh, done. On to the next job. Only me, back again, new day, different day. Got some bits arrived. These are some important bits. Not much, but they are important. So, as you'll have seen in the last few clips, I'm just sort of odd jobbing my way to getting this car ready for the MOT in a week or so, hopefully. So, on my table, you can see it's a right old mess again. Look, we've got all sorts going on. The extra exhaust rubber for the new mounts that we made. Aerial blanking plate, not MOT required, but this little bad boy is. You see it says beep on there. Can you tell what it's for? So that's going to be my new horn button. The reason I've got that and not using the one in the wheel is because basically the push button on the old horn was all connected via a little rotary mechanism to do with the secondary restraint system, like the airbag system and whatever. So I've ripped all of that out, so none of it exists anymore. So the only way you can do it is if you run a wire from the horn wire actually up inside the hub, and then obviously that's just going to get twisted round and round and round and round and round like crazy, and eventually it'll probably just wear through the sheathing on the wire and stop working. So I thought, why not just put a dashboard button in a little blanking hole next to the fog light, run the wires to the switch, simple, done, MOT ready. Not like you use a horn very often anyway. So yeah, that's that done. So also headlight brackets, not headlight brackets, keep calling them that. You remember I bought these from a breakers. Well, I only got sort of half of what I needed because it's a 2-piece bracket. You've got this bottom piece of the bracket here, that's the part that bolts to the crash bar, that's this piece, and then on top of it you've got the actual piece the bumper slots into, NFG. Now what I did find was you can actually still buy them brand new from Honda. So that's what's in this box. We've got brand new OEM Honda bumper stiffener brackets, that's what they're called. So we've got the upper and lower piece, that's an upper, that's another upper, yeah, that's an upper. So we've got 2 uppers and then 2 lowers. Now they fit onto that crash bar over there, so that's my next job. Bosh, and we are done. All that just for those bloody brackets, so that the bumper doesn't try and go a bit wonky in front of the headlight. So these come free if you buy a total complete car, by all accounts. Don't buy half a car like I did, and then you'll have some already and save you 70 quid. Winning. Well, yesterday was quite fun. So we tried to sort out the vacuum line from the brake booster to the intake manifold. One to use is this 10mm hose and this one-way valve off of Amazon. Now I ordered this as a 10mm hose fitting. Now if we measure it, we can see that the biggest measurement across there is actually 13mm, give or take. So that's across the barb fitting there. Yeah, almost 13mm. So that obviously was too big, and that split the hose. So what's funny about that is I ordered it as 10mm, but on the back it actually says 14mm. So we've ordered some more just today, or yesterday, for delivery today. So now we're going to quickly measure what's occurring here. If we get the packaging open, see if one of these is any better. Right, so let's try one of these. Okay, this looks better, to be honest. It does look better, so let's give this one a measure. 11.11mm at the widest point, so that's probably going to work a lot better, because that will make the smaller inner piece 10.4. So in theory that should fit. Where's the line? So that goes towards engine, so that needs to go in this end. Oh yeah, so there you go, look, that goes on there a lot easier. Bosh. Just like that, son. Yeah, it works, I think. The other thing was, failing that, I bought a load of these male-male adapters, which I was going to use to just convert, well, chop and convert the factory OEM line into this line, using them connectors there. So I think I've actually bypassed that, but I'm not sure how good this valve is, so we'll run with this for now because they were cheap, but failing that we'll go back to OEM. So there we go. I'm going to call that battle win successful. So we've got some OEM looking retainers now, and the hose we've made go this way around the engine to the brake booster there, and there's your cheeky little one-way check valve. So I've just cable tied it to the earth strap there, cable tied it to the fuel rail there, so that shouldn't move or chafe. Actually got a nice little bit of clearance just underneath it there. Can't really see on camera, but I can see a few mil clearance there, so hopefully it won't rub itself to bits. But I think that was probably the cleanest way of doing it, considering I don't have all of the OEM bracketry and stuff around this side to do the job there. So that is a bit of a problem, that throttle cable, but we'll see if we can find a fix for that maybe. Yeah, we are getting there. I remounted the radiator. I've completely adjusted this bracket and adjusted the bottom brackets as well, because this little lip that juts out just there was actually touching the radiator in one point. And if you can just see in there, yeah, you can just see that dark line is where the radiator had started to contact it. So I've tweaked that downward and adjusted the bracket, so it's actually a lot more solid in there now than it was. But we've got some foam isolator pads down on the bottom brackets, So that's that done. That took an hour yesterday, which I hadn't planned on doing, so we're getting there. It's just loads and loads and loads of silly little things to button it up, but that was like the last sort of main component for operation. I need to make a bracket to hold this up, so I'm just going to do a simple bracket that goes that way, down, and then that way, and then mount it in that hole there, support it from underneath, probably either attach it by this Jubilee clip here or zip tie it or something, I don't know. Because as you can see, I like my zip ties. One there, one there. There's a load of them in there. They're not pretty, but they're very functional. So, yep, let's crack on. Oh, and I also put the rubber strip back on the bonnet. That needed some attention because previous overspray that was on it, not me before I got it, because I took it off to paint it, but that was before I ran out of paint and then realised that the bonnet was knackered anyway. So that bonnet will probably get scrapped and changed at some point. But for right now, we are focusing on getting this thing capable of passing an MOT, and I think we're getting pretty close. Headlight brackets are all on. We're going to attempt to put the bumper back on now and see how much fanning about that's going to take to align everything up. Gucci. Oh, doesn't she look lovely? Look at that. Whee. So anyway, so we're on to some other stuff now. That there is my original cracked rear light lens, and that's the one that has correct working fog light wiring. This one is the adapted, modified, whatever you want to call it, for the JDM light mod that I bought. I bought these not for the light mod, but I bought them because the lenses weren't cracked. So what I actually managed to do was just swap the loom over to the non-cracked headlight, and now she's Gucci. So we now have MOT compliant lighting everywhere. There's the roll cage, you can see that. I'll do a proper video on that one day. But down here we've got a nice freshly powder coated crash bar. You can see my exhaust rubbers there. You can see the size of this back box now actually. You sort of get some sort of scale for it because it's a big old thing. Don't know why that's on a slight piss that way, but anyways, we failed on the brake bleeding. No bueno. Basically, the situation is I think that it's been sat for so long now, just fully dry, that you just can't build enough pressure in it to get the fluid out of the master cylinder and into the lines. I had the same problem with the clutch master, but I managed to do that with like a turkey baster full of fluid and just like forcing it in that way and a bit of an airline assistance, and it sort of worked. But I need the proper kit to do that and I haven't got it, so I'm a bit gutted to be honest, because that's stopped playing now. Just this last bit is killing me, man, because every little job takes forever. You know, prime example of that is the crash bar had M12 by 1.5 captive nuts on it, but the bolts, which I thought were the right bolts, which are always sat in them holes when I got the car, were M12 by 1.25. So obviously that weren't working, so I had to just re-tap the, well, re-threaded the bolts basically. I just wazzed them through and they hold great, so that'll work. But yeah, we're sort of slowly getting less stuff in the garage. It still looks a shithole because I'm just in the middle of stuff everywhere all the time, but once this car's assembled, I've got that aluminium mesh there to put inside the grille. So I need to do that as well, and there's my grille sat there. So get it cut, get it shaped, get it painted, get it bonded on, then the grille can go on the car and that will help support the bumper properly then. So fitment on the bumper ain't too bad overall, considering this, I found out now, this is actually a non-genuine bumper, but it's acceptable. It's not horrendous. It's not great, but it is not horrendous. So nearly a complete car, boys. Nearly a complete car. That is the last piece of exterior / body plastics to be fitted on this car. Fitted the bumper properly on the back now. So this has all got little fixings, little push fixing jobbies in there. We've got the screw in either end. And then I've had to do zip ties in the bottom because I haven't got enough of the right things to do that. But I reckon that will probably be alright. So we've just got 2 zip ties there, 2 zip ties there. Looking at the rust, it looks like they've had metal fasteners in at some point. Probably not ideal for under the car there, but hey. And then what we've also done is I've cut the bumper out because the moulding of the rear splitter lip was actually touching the exhaust tailpipe. So we've had the cutting tools out and we've made some space for it so it now won't rattle its nuts off, but it looks pretty much factory still. You can't see where I've done the cut from eye level or stood up, so that's all good. It's got a couple of pieces of trim to put back in here. Might put the window trims back in the back, I'm not sure yet, but this one is a right good cleaning and tidy up because it got made quite messy when it was having the cage done. All the backs of the seats are filthy, quite filthy actually. Oh god. Passenger seat needs bolting back in. I've also got to sort out the eyelets for the side lap belts, outer lap belts, sorry. The inner ones are done actually, you can just see them there, they're on the exhaust tunnel. I probably need to cut the plastics out so that I can get enough purchase to tighten them up correctly, so I might have to cut them, and gonna loom tape a few bits of the wiring loom in the back here as well at some point just to get it all looking a bit tidy. But mate, what a fucking mission. This last little bit, did I do a little bit on the fog light? I think I did. This last little bit is just taking absolutely forever. Just want to drive it, but obviously I can't, because I can't believe the fucking brakes. So onward we go. Let's try and get under the car and see what we can do with that. One last temporary fix. Now, I made this intake up out of a couple of pieces of alley and a 45 elbow when I had the EP3 intake on there. Now, this skunk tooth thingy bob has a different angle. So what it was doing is it was sending my air filter into my fresh paint, as you can see there, and also down there. But I can now get my fingers under there, so that's no longer an issue. Blow all that crap out of there. So yeah, we basically had some serious clearancing issues around this area here because of the new angle of the intake, so I'll fix that. Now the way I fix that is by means of a bracket, and you want to see this bracket, it's a freaking work of art. Don't judge me, I'm not a fabricator. This is just temporary until I can get the car MOT'd, and then I can drive it over to Robert RTL and have him make me a nice one that fits perfect and will be solid. So this will do the job. So I've just found an extra nut the same size as my gearbox mount down there, put one bracket on that side, bolted it through to the bracket that goes through from this side, and I mean, it's freaking sturdy as. Freaking sturdy as. I've got 4 holes in the top plate and some cable ties round, and that is just enough to not kink the hose and to give me the clearance that I need all around the filter. And I had to bend it a little bit because the first time I did it, it touched the bonnet and I couldn't get the freaking clearance. So that's now in there. It now clears everything. Everything's happy. I'm happy. This clearance. All the dots. Dort. I'm literally a grill mesh and a brake bleed away from sending it alignment and MOT. Oh mate, it's been a bit of a battle. This last 10%, they say, didn't they? The last 10% will take you 90% of the time. Well, I think I'm probably 2 weekends in solid. 2 solid weekends in, so sort of 4 days. And I don't work long hours when I'm at home. I just come out 10, 11 o'clock, go in 4-ish, whatever. So yeah, Gucci. First time bumpers all on. Frick, can't get over it, mate. We are nearly there. Nearly there.